people are just going to begin to demand it. And I think that's probably true. We were talking at breakfast this morning, Jackie Fanninsteel and I, about the Prius. And when it first came out, every analyst said, that's a funny looking car. Nobody's going to want that. The fact that it looked different, the fact that it was completely different, became its biggest selling point. And I think you're going to begin to see, I think you are seeing things like that happen already. But I think what the military can do is create the market. The military can show that it works. The military can use its bases as test beds. The military can show, I mean, if it's important for national security, then it's important for what you buy to go to the grocery store. We have had a history in the military recently. I named some of the things. Internet, military pioneered. GPS, military pioneered. Flat screen TVs. You can go on and on about things that had military applications first that then moved to the bigger society. And I think that's where we're going in energy. I don't only think, I'm confident that that's where we're going in energy.
Mr. Secretary, welcome to Newport, Rhode Island. My name is Chris Seminelli. I'm the Middletown Town Council. I'm involved in politics. Please don't hold that against me. Yesterday, Admiral Ruff...
I won't if you won't hold it against me. So.
Yesterday, Admiral Ruff had reinforced the fact that we must provide our high school students with experiences that help them make career choices, especially in the military, which provides wonderful careers. He did suggest that perhaps members of the audience rub elbows with their high school students and share their experiences. Could you please comment on your feelings about the importance of providing clear career choices for our high school students and any suggestions you have to prepare them for the future?
Sure. I think military is one of the most rewarding, fulfilling careers that anybody can possibly have. Now, having said that, 3 out of 4 Americans from 18 to 24 do not qualify to join the United States military. We should be appalled by that. And that's what we have to work on. They're not qualified because of education, obesity, or criminal record. 3 out of 4 do not qualify to join the Navy, to join the Coast Guard, to join the Air Force, the Army, the Marine Corps. 3 out of 4. That's the message you got to take back. Because the people we're getting are extraordinary. And I do think that it's critical that we not just look to certain places. I mean, within the last 3 months, I've announced that ROTC is coming back to Harvard, to Columbia, and to Yale. But the military cannot get divorced from the people it protects. Fewer than 1% of this country serves in the uniform of this country. And we cannot allow any sort of divide to happen there, whether it's geographical, whether it's income, whether it's point of view, because we need it to look like the people that it's defending. And so for high school students, yeah, a career in the Navy or Marine Corps, and I'll just talk about the Navy and Marine Corps, is one of the best careers you can have. You're doing something bigger than yourself. You're doing something to protect America. You're doing something to promote democracy. But in order to do it, you're going to have to know some science. You're going to have to know some math. You're going to have to know some engineering. You're going to have to know technology, because there is not a single job in the Navy or the Marine Corps for strong backs and weak minds. And so if they want a career in the United States military, and I do hope you'll go out and talk to them, they got to study hard. And you can tell them that the first thing SEALs do when they finish BUDS training and Hell Week, and all the stuff you read about, is they go to 13 weeks of language school. And they spend as much time in their career in the classroom as they do training and operating. This is an exceptional force. And if you want to be a part of it, you got to be exceptional.
Mr. Secretary, Barbara Goldberg from Naval Station Newport. You mentioned homegrown, and the Navy has been the pace setter with algae biofuel. I was wondering if your concept for energy independence includes enabling the installations with the opportunity to grow our own fuel.
Sure. Jackie Fannensteel, right here, come talk to her. I'm really serious. I'm not being flip about this. If you got a better idea of how you can do it right here, we'd like to know about it.
Question?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been concentrating over here. Yes, sir. And then you.
Mr. Secretary, 30 some odd years ago, we had a nuclear accident at 3 Mile Island. And an hysterical and uninformed public prompted an hysterical and uninformed Congress to chop off at the knees a vibrant and expanding nuclear power industry. Over the last year or so, our current crisis seemed to have the American public willing to embrace nuclear power once again as an element in our formula for addressing the problem. And then we had the Japanese disaster. From your standpoint in government, do you think that the President and the Congress today has the leadership and the fortitude to go forward in the face of a reaction from the public?
Well, I'll only speak for the administration part of it, but I know the President does. And I know the President has recommitted his support to nuclear power as part of the answer to our energy situation. One of the things last summer that I did at the President's request is went to my home region of the Gulf during Deepwater Horizon and came up with, at his direction, a restoration plan economically and environmentally for the Gulf Coast. The types of fuel we use, non-nuclear fuel, is not without risk either, particularly where we're having to go to get them today. And I don't think you have to look any farther in the Navy than our carriers and our submarines. We're absolutely committed to nuclear power. We know how to do it. We know how to do it safely. And we know how to do it very, very effectively. And I do think that, well, I don't think, I know the President is committed to nuclear power as part of the answer to our national energy need. Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Secretary, Bruce Watts. I'm a fourth-generation naval officer from both sides of my family. And my question for you is, you're constantly dealing with change. You're talking about the tipping point. You're talking about the importance of technology and working with venture capitalists. My question to you is not focused in the favor of either political party, Democratic or Republican, but my question to you is whether, what your reaction is to whether we wouldn't be better off with a 6-year term for president and not 2 terms, just 1 6-year term, and wouldn't we get more done because so many of our civilian servants at the highest levels of government are faced, and not necessarily their fault, with 2 years of campaigning, then 2 years of working, then 2 years of campaigning. Not to say they aren't working while they're campaigning, but is there a tipping point coming in that regard?
Okay. I'm I'm going to do this very transparently. I'm ducking that question. I said I'm ducking your question, and I want to be transparent about it. This is one of these things, you know, like the minister said, I can preach it round or I can preach it flat.